House Republicans spent all day to choose their third Speaker nominee, current GOP Whip Tom Emmer, but it's looking like this was the shortest run of all. NTD's Melina Weisskopf joins us live from Capitol Hill with updates. Melina, tell us more about what's happening with Emmer.
Good evening, Tiff. You're exactly right. This was the shortest lifespan of a speaker nominee that we've seen during this entire 3-week search when Republicans are trying to find their next speaker. Now, Tom Emmer, after emerging from that, the 8 candidates that he was vying against earlier today, just hours after he won that nomination, he dropped out. And this comes after not only upwards of 20 members were adamantly opposing him, saying that they would never vote for him on the House floor, but interestingly enough, it also comes just after former President Trump launched some harsh criticism against Emmer. We'll read you exactly what the former president had to say. He wrote on Truth Social, "Voting for a globalist rhino like Tom Emmer would be a tragic mistake." Now, keep in mind, this is also after Tom Emmer called former President Trump earlier this week, trying to garner some support from him. Obviously, that did not work, and it went instead the opposite direction. Now, also interestingly enough, the former president saw this as so important to squash Tom Emmer's chances that he even took time out of a press gaggle that he was having during a break at his court appearance today to comment on it. We'll show you what the former president had to say, along with what members were telling me today about the possibility of an Emmer as speaker. Take a look.
Tom Emmer, it looks like he's finished. Looks like he's finished. He was not a supporter. He was a rhino. And it looks like he's finished, but we'll see.
I can't go along with putting one of the most moderate members of the entire Republican conference in the Speaker's chair. That betrays the conservative values that I came here to fight for.
When people cease to come together as a majority, it's frustrating.
Because you can always find something then. I mean, if 98% of the time you agree, that's a lot. So hopefully people can see it that way rather than the 1 or 2%.
Now, we did see some strong opposition before Trump launched that criticism. Members saying that they were just unhappy with Emmer's previous voting record. He voted for things such as codifying same-sex marriage. He supports Ukraine aid. These are all things that the most conservative wing of the Republican Party just aren't willing to support. But, Tiff, it was surprising how quickly Emmer did drop out.
And Melina, with that said, where does that leave us as far as the House seating a speaker at some point this week?
Well, we're back to the drawing board. Republicans are once again right now back behind closed doors where they've spent the majority of their time over the past 3 weeks trying to figure all of this out. They're trying to choose another candidate right now. They're hearing from potential candidates, actually. I'll read you the list of those who have thrown their hat in the ring so far. So we did see some return candidates, such as Byron Donalds of Florida, a new congressman, as well as Kevin Hern. He also, ran last time. There was also Mike Johnson, who's the vice chair of the Republican Conference. And then you have some new names like the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, that is Mark Green. And then you have Chuck Fleshman and Roger Williams. So there are also some unknown names here. So they're back to square one. They're going to choose from these candidates once again behind closed doors and then hopefully move on to a floor vote at some point this week. One positive thing about Emmer dropping out so quickly is the fact that we aren't going to have to wait multiple floor rounds before we see whether or not Emmer could have gotten the votes. Instead, Republicans are just going to quickly move on to someone else. Tiff?
Melina, thank you for that update.